fucking hike. If I can't see it from my bike, I ain't fucking looking at it. This is one of the places where, in the middle of fucking nowhere, that phrase was believed to be originated from. Well, good evening. And happy Easter. Either for religious reasons or a proclivity to chocolate. I hope you have a nice long weekend. Now, today's little video is just a little bit of an update on my update actually for the trip. This one here. And I built a plan actually. I built a plan which I will put on the screen in a second, sort of showing all the stops I plan to make in an approximation of stops. How many hours I'm riding, how many far I'm riding, what the cost is, how many fuel stops I've got, and there's a lot of assumptions going on here, and obviously assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups, but you've got to go from somewhere, right? So, before I get into that actually, I will say that doing this trip isn't just about doing this trip, it's filming it as well. So I had to buy a new camera today and new microphones, and there's a load of tech that I've got to take with me. In post bullshit, but you know, nonetheless. So if you could hit subscribe and get this far in the video and get me to 1,000 subscribers so I could get monetized, that would be amazing. But it's gonna be difficult. I've created such an impossibly fucking difficult thing for me to do, but I think it's meant to be difficult. I want it to be difficult. I want it to be such a physical exertion and a mental exertion that I want to quit. I said to someone the other day, I said, for me this is a marathon. You don't ask a marathon runner who's doing the London Marathon, oh, did you stop, did you have a look at the palace as you run past it? They went, no, it's a fucking marathon. And this is a marathon. In fact, the colleague I'm staying with in Norway, in Kristiansand, I was asking him for sort of places to stop and visit on the way up as I go, and I don't mean stop and visit, but stop for my overnight stay. And he says, how far are you willing to hike to see something? And I said, fucking hike. If I can't see it from my bike, I ain't fucking looking at it. Which to some may seem a bit of a waste of a trip, but it depends on your reason. What is interesting, at least for me, so I'm wearing these boots for most of the trip, and I will say, even with this protective layer on, I don't know if you can see about there, but I've already started to wear that off, so it'll be interesting to see how that holds up on the trip. And yeah, so I'll pop on the screen now the plan. So in summation, I am doing approximately, I've just ordered new glasses, 10,653 miles. I will be riding for a total of 194 hours, give or take. The fuel cost will be approximately £1,065, 53.2 fill up, so let's call it 54. And this is based on a critical assumption actually, that if I keep the bike in rain mode and I keep it in cruise control as often as I can, I should see about 200 miles out of a tank. Now this still does have the problem where it is not showing full. So the last 30 miles are a bit of a pig in a poke. I am not going to take any fuel bottles with me anymore, because taking this all off the bike for each accommodation will be a pain in the ass, and I don't want to do that. And then the total cost of the trip, excuse me, is £10 and 30 pence. It'll be interesting to see how close I get. I've already booked the hotel, my first two hotels, and my boat from Denmark to Kristiansand, and then the rest will just wing it. But it's funny, I was looking at, when I was doing each one of these mile sections between the towns you can see here, or at least the locations I say, is that when I'd done the route up through Norway, and I'm going to a place called Hammerfest, the most northerly town in Europe, and then I'm cutting across through like the landlocked peninsula, the tip of Finland is the plan. And I put the little street view man on the road, as you can see here. And this is funny, the first thing that struck me is to say that this isn't South Gloucestershire in the middle of nowhere. This is one of the places where, in the middle of fucking nowhere, that phrase was believed to be originated from, because it is in the middle of fucking nowhere. And not that I'm worried about being in the middle of nowhere, but it isn't not a concern either. And all this will be done in apparently 36 days. And I've got some big hitting days there. You can see the first 2 days are over 500 miles. I have a 660, which is across Sweden. I do have the opportunity potentially to break that up into a couple of days, which I don't think would be a bad idea. And then Morocco's got a couple of big hitters as well. This is the plan. Well, if you could hit subscribe, hit follow, write a comment, share this with a friend. In 15 days, 2 weeks tomorrow, we start a trip of a lifetime. Cheers.